Alright, today I got this pump, right? This Intex shenanigan seized up. You hear it? It's going. So I'm gonna take this thing apart. I'm gonna see if we can get this thing to spin again. There's a little cover here that's covering this dial. You can take this cover off. Inside there you'll see a screw. Remove that screw. So it's just these 4 screws on all the way on each corner here that you take off, and this just comes off straight up. And this other one has 4 screws in the face. That comes right off. And this is what we got. Once I cleared all the spiders away, this top piece slides right off on these grooves. The front piece, you just pull right off, and you get inside here. Filter is just this little tab thing here. Once you get the screwdriver in the back, it pops right open. It falls right off. Now I should be able to separate from here once we get these bolts off of this mount, or screws off this mount. Alright, so we removed these 4 screws that were holding this motor on, and it just pulls right out from the filter. Okay, so what I did was I took these 4 screws off of this front here. This is an interesting design. So you pop this up, right, and it's got this little center shaft that I believe is for balancing out the blades here. So you see how it's got a little bit of play in here? This is weird. So this thing actually pulls right out, and it's magnetized, obviously. You know, I mean, I don't know if you know the fundamentals of kind of motors, how they work. So this is magnetized, and there's quite the amount of scoring on here. So this thing will rotate, and sand or something must have got in here, and I could feel on the sidewall it's a little rough. And I don't know if that has something to do with it. Actually, upon further inspection here, what you notice is in the bottom there's that little stub that actually connects to this, because that's been severed. So that's what our issue is. That's where all that play comes from. It's not supposed to be free floating in there. So in order to fix this, I bet you this thing was supposed to stay in there too. But when I pulled it up, it came right out. So this piece is what's broken. This feels like a metal, but it looks like a plastic. See if you can kind of rig something up here to make this work. Alright, so this is what we got right here. I pulled the other piece out using these pliers out of the center. Now we just got to fabricate something that's similar to this. Coincidentally, I actually have a piece of metal I was planning on throwing out last week, and I said, I bet you, if I throw this out, I'm going to need it. I want you to check something out here. This is why I save things. Unbelievable how close that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece. I'm going to Dremel out these grooves, although I don't believe these grooves are necessary. This is awesome. I might just cut this piece, throw it in there, and see what kind of results we get. This is going to be awesome. Alright, here we are. Here's the original piece. Alright, that's the original piece. It's broken at the base. This is the stuff I used. It's just part of like an old, some election person came and put their sign on my property, so I took the sign down and I kept this material. Now this is what it came out like after I sanded it off, smoothed it out. So I just cut it. These notches, I'm not gonna worry about those. I'm not gonna worry about it. They didn't make sense. So here we go. We're gonna take this. I'm gonna put some silicone lubricant on here. This is better than WD-40 as far as like WD-40. What it does is supposedly it kind of it's bad for gaskets and plastic and stuff. It kind of dries it out, kind of removes the moisture. So it actually says there you can use it for rubber and or plastics. So we're gonna spray a little bit of this stuff on here to kind of give it a good coat and for protection, because it's not stainless. This is just, you know, doo-doo steel here. We're gonna drop it in and see what the results are. All right, so here we go. everything's back and assembled. I put those 2 pieces in, I put that rod in there, and then I secured these 4 screws. Now, this is the moment of truth here to see if this repair actually worked. Before, when I started it up, it was broken, so it was like chopping around, like this is what it sounded like when it operated. We'll see what it sounds like now. If it blows to shreds. Here we go. Alright, now that still sounds terrible, but I think that's because there's no water in there, and that water will actually act as a, you know, kind of just something you could slide upon. So we're going to put this back together. It didn't seize up. So to me, that's a good sign, because what happened, it was jamming up. So we're gonna put this back together, and we're gonna see what happens when you operate it with the water. So for reassembly, here's what we did. I slid this top piece back on. Okay. Now we're gonna put this back in there. Make sure it's nice and seated. I'm gonna reinstall this clip. Now that orientation of that clip is important, okay? Because if it feels like it's incredibly loose, I guarantee it's on the wrong way. So once that's on, I'm just gonna put this back in. Actually, you should probably put that in prior to putting this clamp on, because that was actually pretty difficult. All right, so now that that's in, I think we're ready to throw that other piece in. I'm gonna put this on, 4 screws in the front. So now at this point, with all this stuff assembled, you can go ahead and test it if you want. But I'm just gonna continue the install here, the completion of it, and then we're gonna get to actually testing it. And hopefully it should be all set. Now the next thing you wanna do is you're gonna put this cover on, and when that cover goes on, you're gonna get this in there, okay? That little screw and the knob for this timer here. The orientation for this doesn't really matter. You'll see it has grooves and it'll slip on, so don't even worry about that. Prior to installing this cover though, ensure that you have these 4 mounting screws here installed. If it feels like one of these screws aren't going in, there's a good chance that the nut came out from the bottom. So press that back in and then start screwing it. Okay, cover's on. We're gonna put these 4 screws back in, and then we're gonna get this knobby back on there. We're gonna give it another shot. So it's 0 extra parts and no tools missing. We plugged everything back in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up these valves here, and we're gonna check for any leaks. So far, so good. Do the same to the other one. You can hear the water rushing in. Okay, so it looks good. No leaks. Okay, so the bubbles stopped. Now we're gonna try it out. This is the moment right here. Okay, so now we turn it on. And that solves that problem. Beautiful. Now let's get this pool blue again. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If it did, maybe give me a like. I don't know how much this pump cost, but I'll tell you right now that 1 hour and some free parts I had around my garage, the repair was free. Super simple, super easy. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. See ya.